the Dodgers had a 2-run lead, a locked-in starter on the mound, and 5 innings of nearly perfect baseball behind them. Then, in one single at-bat, Tyrone Taylor stepped in and destroyed everything. 1 swing, 3 runs, the lead gone. The momentum flipped. And just like that, a game the Dodgers controlled became an 8-3 loss that raises serious questions about this team heading into the second half. But the story does not stop with the final score. Because Shohei Ohtani, the best two-way player on the planet, is quietly in the middle of the most concerning stretch of his entire Dodgers career. This is the full breakdown. Every detail. Right now. Welcome back to Baseball Tribune, the fastest, most accurate source for MLB news, analysis, and everything happening in the world of baseball today. If this is your first time here, hit subscribe and turn on that notification bell right now, because we cover these stories every single day and you do not want to be behind on what is happening inside the biggest franchise in baseball. Today we are covering the series finale between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the New York Mets, a game the Dodgers had every opportunity to win, and a game that ended with questions about the bullpen, about Ohtani's form at the plate, and about whether his left knee is silently taking something away from the most dangerous bat in the Dodgers lineup. We have the full game breakdown, the key moments that decided this one, and then a deep look at where Ohtani actually stands right now, with real numbers, real context, and real analysis. No speculation. No fabrication. Just the truth about one of the most important storylines of the 2026 season. Let's get into it. To understand the weight of this game, you first need to understand what was at stake for the Dodgers heading into Sunday's series finale. Los Angeles came into this weekend at Citi Field having already won the first 2 games of the series. Through Game 2, the Dodgers had gone 4-0 against the Mets this season, a run of dominance that had put them on the doorstep of something historic. A win on Sunday would have given them a sweep of the weekend series and, according to historical records, would have made them only the second time ever that the Los Angeles Dodgers swept all 6 regular season games against the New York Mets in a single season, a feat achieved only once before in 2017. That kind of history does not come around often. And for a team with the Dodgers' championship ambitions, sweeping a divisional opponent 6 times in one season is the kind of statement that sends a message to the entire National League. The Mets, sitting at 43-61 on the season and 18 games under 500, were desperate for any result that could restore some pride before the August 3rd trade deadline, when their roster is widely expected to be dismantled. This was their last chance to avoid a complete sweep and to send their home fans home with something to feel positive about. That desperation would prove to be a powerful motivator. Dave Roberts penciled Shohei Ohtani into the leadoff spot as designated hitter, exactly where he has been since his pitching schedule was shut down due to left knee irritation. And from the very first pitch of the game, Ohtani showed why that decision is still correct even when he is managing this knee situation. Facing Freddie Peralta on the first at-bat of the afternoon, Ohtani got into a good count and drove the ball hard to deep center field. A clean, well-struck double that put him in immediate scoring position with nobody out. It was the kind of contact that only a handful of hitters in this league can produce on the very first pitch they see in a game. Quality bat. Confident swing. His 19th double of the season, and a sign that his ability to make contact has not left him. With Ohtani standing at second base and no outs in the top of the first, the Dodgers had a genuine opportunity to take the lead before the Mets had even gotten started. But Peralta got out of the inning without allowing a run, stranding Ohtani at third after he advanced on a groundout. The Mets answered immediately in the bottom half. A.J. Ewing led off with a double and Francisco Lindor, who has had a strong season at the plate for New York, singled to right center to drive Ewing home. 1-0 Mets. The Dodgers' missed opportunity in the first had come back to bite them within minutes. But Emmet Sheehan on the mound was not fazed. Emmet Sheehan went out and pitched like a man determined to erase that first inning run as quickly as possible. The young right-hander settled in and began commanding his pitches with impressive authority. He kept the Mets lineup off balance throughout the middle innings, mixing his pitches intelligently, limiting hard contact, and doing exactly what a starting pitcher is supposed to do, give his team a chance to win. The offense responded. In the third inning, Eleuteris Alfonso delivered a timely double to put a runner in scoring position, and Freddie Freeman, who finished the game with an RBI double of his own among his contributions, came through in the clutch. Max Muncy added a run with a productive ground ball, and Tommy Edman continued his consistent work at the top of the order as the Dodgers gradually built their advantage. By the time the fifth inning was complete, the Dodgers led 3-1, and Sheehan had done his job almost perfectly. Across 5 innings he allowed just 1 run on 3 hits, through 87 pitches with 54 for strikes, and left the mound in position to earn the win. His ERA on the season, his stuff, his composure, all of it was on display in those 5 innings. The Dodgers had what they needed: a lead, a quality start, and 5 innings of competitive baseball in front of them to close it out. What happened next is what will define this game. Jack Dreyer came in from the Dodgers bullpen to start the 6th inning, and from the very first batter the warning signs were there. Dreyer could not command his pitches. He walked Carson Bench, the rookie Mets outfielder who had been making noise all series, to lead off the inning. Then he walked pinch hitter Luis Robert Jr., who the Mets had inserted specifically in this situation. 2 walks, 0 outs. 2 base runners on with the top of the Mets order coming up and the entire Citi Field crowd suddenly alive. The Dodgers pulled Dreyer immediately and brought in Evan Phillips, one of their more trusted options out of the bullpen this season. But the damage had already been set up, and what followed was one of the most devastating single swings of the Dodgers' recent stretch of play. Tyrone Taylor stepped into the batter's box. Phillips delivered a 1-1 sinker, and Taylor hammered it into the left field seats. A 3-run home run, his 8th of the season, his 5th in just 33 at-bats since returning from the injured list at the end of June. In one swing, the Mets went from trailing 3-1 to leading 4-3. The game had been completely flipped. The lead the Dodgers had spent 5 innings building was gone. Phillips took the loss, falling to 0-2 on the season, and the momentum of the entire game had permanently shifted to the home team. With the Mets now in front and the Dodgers struggling to generate any sustained offensive pressure, the 7th inning arrived and made the result official. A Dodgers catching error, a miscue that should never happen at this level, especially in a game this close, allowed the Mets to score another run without even needing a hit. These are the kinds of mistakes that separate playoff teams from teams that go home early. When a bullpen collapses and a defensive error follows, there is almost no way back. Marcus Semien put the finishing touch on it. With 2 runners on and 2 outs, the veteran second baseman drove a pitch to left field, a 3-run home run, his 11th of the season, that pushed the score to 8-3 and removed any remaining doubt about the final result. Semien, who continues to quietly put together a productive campaign for the Mets, punished the Dodgers at exactly the wrong moment. Final score: Mets 8, Dodgers 3. The Dodgers finished their 9-game East Coast road trip against the Yankees, Phillies, and Mets at 6-3, a record that is respectable on paper but leaves real questions about the bullpen and the offense's ability to deliver with runners in scoring position. On Sunday alone, the Dodgers went 2 for 13 with runners in scoring position. That number, more than any other, explains how an 8-3 loss happens when your starting pitcher only allows 1 run in 5 innings. Now let us talk about the development that has quietly become the most important storyline in the entire National League. Shohei Ohtani is struggling. Not catastrophically. Not in a way that has removed him from the lineup or made him irrelevant. But struggling in a way that is real, that is measurable, and that directly affects the Dodgers' ability to do what they are built to do: score runs and win championships. Since the All-Star break, Ohtani has gone 7 for 38 at the plate. That is a batting average of .184. He has had moments of quality contact. His first inning double on Sunday was exactly the kind of swing that reminds you who this player is. But the consistency, the sustained production at bat after bat, the maximum power output that made him the unanimous MVP last season, those have not been there. And the number that stands above all others right now: Ohtani has gone 9 consecutive games without hitting a home run. His last home run came before the All-Star break, in the final game against the Arizona Diamondbacks. For a player who hit 55 home runs last season, who has the most powerful bat in the sport when he is fully healthy and fully locked in, 9 games without one is an unusual drought, and it is a drought that has coincided exactly with the emergence of his left knee irritation. Last season, Ohtani's final numbers were historic: a .282 batting average, 55 home runs, 102 RBIs, and a 4th unanimous MVP award. This season, through 102 games, his batting average remains at .282. Contact is not the issue. But he sits at 22 home runs and 61 RBIs. The average is there. The power is not at the level it should be. Dave Roberts has been direct and transparent about Ohtani's situation, and the explanation he has offered is mechanically sound. When Ohtani pitches, his left knee is under enormous stress. It must absorb force on every stride, provide stability through hip rotation, and handle the full mechanical demand of a starting pitcher's delivery repeated dozens of times per outing. That is why the Dodgers shut his pitching schedule down. They do not want to turn what is currently a manageable irritation into something that could cost them their ace in October. When Ohtani hits, Roberts has explained, his left knee remains behind him in the swing. The stress profile is genuinely different. The demand is lower. And because of that, the Dodgers have kept Ohtani in the lineup every day as the designated hitter without hesitation. But here is the part that cannot be dismissed. Even when a knee is not causing sharp, obvious pain during a swing, any instability in the lower body can quietly reduce a hitter's ability to transfer power. The explosive force that generates Ohtani's elite exit velocity does not come from his arms. It comes from the ground up, through his legs, through his hips, and through his core. If the left knee is even slightly compromised in that chain, the output at the point of contact is reduced. Not eliminated. Not dramatically visible in one swing. But reduced in a way that, over dozens of at-bats, shows up clearly in the home run totals and the extra base hit numbers. That may be exactly what we are watching in these 9 games. A player who is still making contact, still getting on base, still contributing, but not yet operating at the version of himself that changes games with one swing. The Dodgers are handling Ohtani's pitching situation with patience and precision. He had fluid drained from his left knee shortly before the All-Star break. A procedure designed to relieve irritation and give the joint the best possible chance to recover during the break. He did not receive an injection, contrary to some earlier reports. The procedure was specifically to drain the excess fluid and reduce the inflammation that had been building up. Since the break, his progress has been gradual. On July 22, he threw a 31-pitch bullpen session in Philadelphia, the first significant step forward since he was scratched from his scheduled start against the Phillies. That session was encouraging. It showed that Ohtani can tolerate the mechanical demand of pitching without his condition worsening. But it was only one session, and the Dodgers are not going to rush him based on one positive result. Roberts has made the team's position clear. There is no set timeline for Ohtani's return to the rotation, and the decision will be made based entirely on how his knee responds to each progressive step, not on any external pressure from the schedule, the standings, or the desire to see him on the mound. The Dodgers believe he will pitch again this season. That confidence is real, and it is based on how his knee has responded to treatment and rest. But they are going to let the process work at its own pace. The goal is October. The goal is the World Series. And a healthy Ohtani available for the entire postseason is worth far more than rushing him back for a handful of regular season starts. Here is where everything stands. The Dodgers lost this game 8-3. Their bullpen failed when it mattered most. Their offense stranded runners all afternoon. And the one player they depend on most, the player the entire offense is built around, is managing a knee that is keeping him off the mound and maybe quietly affecting his power at the plate. But here is what has not changed. The Dodgers are still 66-38 on the season. They still have the best record in Major League Baseball. They still have the deepest roster, the most experienced coaching staff, and the greatest player in the sport in their lineup every single night. Shohei Ohtani will find his swing. His average is holding at .282, the contact is there. The power will return as his knee continues to stabilize. And when it does, when he is fully locked in at the plate and eventually back on the mound with his mechanics healthy and his knee stable, the rest of this league needs to be ready. The trade deadline is August 3rd. The Dodgers will almost certainly add pieces to address the bullpen concerns that have emerged over this road trip. And with 6 weeks of regular season remaining before October, there is plenty of time to get healthy, get right, and get back to playing the version of baseball this roster is truly capable of. One loss does not change the destination. The Dodgers are going to the postseason. The only question is whether Ohtani arrives there at full strength. Everything points to yes. That is all for today. If you made it this far, smash that like button, subscribe to Baseball Tribune, and turn on that notification bell so you never miss a story. Drop a comment below. Are you worried about Ohtani's slump, or do you think he bounces back immediately? We want to hear from you. Share this with every Dodgers fan you know. We will see you in the next one right here on Baseball Tribune.